Hello and welcome to GameCube Classics. In this installment, the game is the Resident Evil Remake released in 2002 exclusively for the Nintendo GameCube. This is one of the greatest games of its generation. So, Resident Evil has two different characters to play as, Chris or Jill. Jill is basically the normal mode, and Chris is the hard mode. So let's play as Jill.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone, situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
Haven't found it yet?
No, not yet, Brad. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate, but we lost contact.
Look, Chris!
Bravo Team's helicopter was a derelict. Save for the remaining body of Kevin. We continued our search for the other members, and it turned into a nightmare. This way. Damn it! Make for that mansion!
Indeed. Enter the survival horror.
There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Barry, and myself. We don't know where Chris is.
If you're playing as Chris, you don't know where Jill is.
What is this place?
Not quite your ordinary house, that's for sure.
Hey, Wesker, where's Chris?
Jill, no! You don't want to go back out there.
But we've got to find...
What was that?
Chris?
No.
Jill, go and investigate.
I'm going with her. Chris and I go back a long way.
All right. You two go. I'll secure this area.
Stay sharp.
So, being a remake of the legendary 1996 Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Remake not only looks significantly better, but the dialogue has been changed up so it's no longer campy and just cheesy and hilarious, but now it's actually serious and scary.
A dining room.
So I'm playing in New Game Plus mode, which gives me not only my original handgun, which you get just by default if you're playing as Jill, which is your your normal sidearm, but because I've completed the game before and done some speedruns of this game, I have this. Launches fire and forget rockets continuously. My infinite rocket launcher. So it's the most powerful weapon in the game that fires unlimited ammo. So I'm just going to demonstrate this just for fun.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
So in a big switch between this version and the original version of Resident Evil, even some of the more campy and hilarious lines, such as Barry's "I'll be examining this" line, are delivered in the Resident Evil remake to be serious and, scary, unlike the original version, which was, just hilarious to listen to. That's really the difference between the original Resident Evil and the Resident Evil remake, is that this one is actually scary. It really is, a game that will unnerve you, even if you played it before. All these years later, I still marvel at just how beautiful this game looks. It's easily one of the greatest and best looking games of the 6th generation. So normally you're just supposed to run away from this zombie. I could attack the zombie and, easily kill it in a single shot, but I'm just gonna run away from it, just so I can get the original cutscene.
Barry!
What is it?
Look out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of it. What the hell is this thing?
I found Kenneth killed by this thing. Let's report this to Wesker.
Now, in case you're wondering, the reason for there's a slight pause between, little changes of the cutscenes is because the cutscenes are actually rendered in-game. They're not, like, pre-recorded or pre-rendered. They're using the actual game's engine, so the game needs to change up its camera angles and populate the game as if the game is playable during its cutscenes. So that's creepy. The zombie gets up after being shot 3 times with a magnum and then goes on the other side of the door again.
Wesker! Jill, help me look for him. Let's not leave this hall.
Good idea.
So just like the original Resident Evil, the remake has pre-rendered stills of where it will show the camera, so it doesn't have a dynamic camera that will follow the player around wherever they go. The camera is always fixed. And, some people might not like this, especially in the context of a game like this, but I think it kind of works for Resident Evil, and, I've seen definitely survival horror games where it doesn't work, but for Resident Evil 1, it's very, very effective. And, the GameCube can sure render it and make it look damn nice. Another thing is the sound effects. Note that when you walk around carpet, your footsteps are muted, but if you walk on stone or something, your footsteps are much, much louder. You also make more noise if you run, as opposed to simply walk. There's all kinds of real-time lighting effects that are used in the GameCube that would not be possible on the PlayStation 2, and probably not on the Xbox either. The game is just incredibly good looking, and I am very, very much looking forward to it finally getting an HD port.
Barry.
Any luck, Jill?
No, nothing. What's going on around here? I can't figure it out.
Same here.
Chris, and now Wesker.
There's not much we can do. We can search for him separately. I'll investigate the dining room again.
Okay, then. I'll try the door on the other side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first floor.
Okay.
Oh! I almost forgot. It's a lockpick. You'd make better use of it.
Thanks. I may need it.
Listen, if something happens, let's meet up in this hall. Got it?
Okay.
Now, although the original Resident Evil is just, again, one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen, this game, unfortunately, only runs at 480i in component, or with component cables. You can't run this game in progressive scan. It doesn't support it. So, you know, I am looking forward to the remake so it can run in 720p, so, you know, not only 480p, but 720p, you know, and it's going to be significantly better looking, and probably also support, you know, real widescreen as opposed to 4:3, which is what the game natively supports. Though I'm using software so I can run it in 16:9-esque display. So I got my infinite rocket launcher, and that's just demonstrating right there that I can do a quick turn by pressing down and then pressing B, which has been retained in every Resident Evil game since the remake. So here's your first zombie that you have to kill normally with your handgun, but screw that. Why would I use the handgun when I can do this? It's satisfying. Initially, most of the mansion is locked, so you need to proceed through the game in a linear fashion, in sort of like an RPG way, where you have to, you know, be of a certain level or something to be able to proceed. Except in Resident Evil, you know, it's not an RPG at all, so you have to find keys and be able to solve puzzles. Resident Evil controls very unlike most games that you would probably think of, with many of these characters being considered to be tank-like in their movements. So you move around with either the D-pad or the analog stick, and you sort of just choose a direction and then go in that direction. They don't really control like typical humans would expect in a game like this. So I gotta knock the statue over, but I gotta be real careful here because there's a zombie right there. Oh, I didn't see you. Luckily, infinite rocket launcher. Sucks to be him. Well, it sucked to be him before he became a zombie, but you know what I mean. So you push things by basically just leaning up against them long enough for your character to automatically push something. It's sometimes hard to cancel out of it or get into it, so you had to be doing it for a prolonged period. Although I do like that there's no like context sensitive button or something that you have to press. One thing that I always thought when I was playing Resident Evil for the first time was that this mansion would be something that I would actually like to see. You know, this is somewhere where I would like to, you know, visit, you know, well, not infested with zombies, of course, but, you know, like, just in real life, this, like, was just a regular mansion, you know, this is something that I would really like to get a house tour of. Because this is one pretty looking place. So I don't know what Capcom, you know, I don't know if they got like an architect to design the Spencer Mansion or if it was designed based around a real mansion or something, but it definitely has a real world touch to it with a lot of, you know, horror-themed elements, like lots of candles and, you know, lots of like gruesome-looking artwork. You know, like in the dining room with the with the two fencers, with the guy piercing the guy's skull and the other one's piercing his chest. So, knocking that statue over, I can get a diamond, because people hide diamonds in statues. Now, the reason Jill is the easy mode, or is the normal mode of the game, as opposed to Chris, is because she starts off with a handgun, not to mention her infinite rocket launcher, which is if you completed the game before, whereas Chris just has a knife. And taking out zombies with a knife is quite dangerous, and it's not nearly as satisfying as doing that. So I'm totally going the wrong way here, but you know, I just want to demonstrate to look at the various camera angles and the lighting effects, that this game still looks so damn good. It's a shame it never supported progressive scan, because if it did, you know, I think this game would look even better. You know, GameCube games were a bit spotty on that, but at least they were better than PlayStation 2 games, where most PlayStation 2 games are 480i only. But still, you know, most Xbox games of that era, almost everything, like I'd say like 98% of all Xbox games are progressive scan compatible. But, you know, what are you going to do? Not everything works out in life. You got these empty bird cages, you got the corpses here, and the shackles on the wall, and the staircase. So damn atmospheric. So I hear the zombies, but they don't see me because I'm just sneaking by them. I'm not actually making so much noise. And then this guy's just standing there, and that's what he gets. Yep, take that guy out because I saw him in the mirror. So Resident Evil not only allows you to collect items that you normally wouldn't be able to use, but you can then examine them and discard parts that aren't useful. So I just picked up an arrow. So now I'm gonna look at the map. So the map is there, so you can, you know where you've been and know where you are and know which doors are locked and which ones you can go through. So you don't just have to guess your way through the game. The map is accessed by pressing the Z button. So here's me looking at the arrow I picked up. And the only thing important is the arrowhead. So let's go through this door that doesn't look like a door. Now, what I was trying to demonstrate here was the defense items that were newly added to this game. But this zombie isn't the type that grabs you, so using the defense items can't be really used on him. So let's just kill him and move on. I hear another zombie, so let's try out the defense item on him. So normally the zombie would just bite at you if you didn't have a defense item, but I do, so yeah, that's fun. So here's the first little puzzle of the game. So, what's also interesting is the items that you pick up when you examine them. You sometimes don't get things that are, you have to rotate the item around. Such as, I looked at the back of the book, and on the back of the book was a key attached to it. So I get the key from looking at the back of the book. If I looked at the front or the side, the key would not have come off. And then the book automatically gets opened up, and I find a little clue what I'm supposed to be doing. So there's nothing unusual about this key until I look at the other side, and then I see an engraving of a sword. So I know that's the sword key, which is going to be used on any door that has an engraving of sword. I was a teenager when this game came out, and, I was very excited because it was past the point where, I was a kid anymore, so I didn't want, a lot of Nintendo games. I didn't care about Luigi's Mansion and Pikmin and, all these things that were coming up for GameCube. Like, I had a GameCube because of Star Wars, that was my killer app for that system, but... and then Resident Evil was going to come up, and I was like, oh my god, this game looks so adult and looks so amazing and so not typical Nintendo, And that was, really what I was looking forward to. And this game did not disappoint. It's probably in my top 10 games of the 6th generation. The PlayStation 2 and Xbox sure had their share of excellent games, but so did the GameCube. With these games that were definitely on a higher edge than what Nintendo's, kid-friendly nature was. So in the original game, there would be a dog that would jump out from this window, but here the window just cracks, which is even more spooky in my opinion. So I'm expecting the dog, but nothing actually happens. And that's part of what makes Resident Evil so amazing, is the fact that it's not only just the original game, but, there's been changes made to it to keep you on your toes. So even if you know what to expect, it might not even happen. So I hear a zombie. Ah, there he is. There he goes. And let's go behind the rickety fence. Now, because of the camera angle system in the game, you can only really aim in 3 ways. You can aim forwards, down, or up. So I missed, so that means I get attacked by the dog here. But no matter. Notice that now Jill is hurt, so she grabs her side like she's injured, which is a really cool effect. So, well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the Resident Evil Remake for GameCube, feel free to leave those in the comment section down below. Also, be sure to hit the like button, because hitting the like button helps support my channel and lets me know that you guys want to see more videos like this. So, until next time, guys, thanks for watching and take care.